Hi guys, one of the ways that Nigel Farage has been so successful, apart from using the media to his advantage, is by putting out radical policies, not with the goal of achieving those goals, but by getting conversation started and getting people to move in his direction. So the left need to do that as well. And Oli Dugmore from Politics Joe did that and clashed with Chris Philp from the Tories. Have a listen.
I'd be looking at a punishing inheritance tax.
Such a Lib Dem, aren't you?
Yeah, really, yeah. Me, a Lib Dem. So let's just pluck a figure out the air. Let's say over £10 million, 100% of that is returned to the state. And I would then revisit council tax.
100%?
Yep.
Well, that really would have a flight of millionaires.
Hang on, people simply leave. So anyone with more than 10 million would just leave the country.
Let them go.
Seriously, you want to? So let me get straight. Your idea, your genius idea, is to say that anyone who's worked hard, been successful, set up a business, and got more than 10 million quid, you're going to say, "Go away, we don't want you."
No,
are you literally insane?
No,
you just did say that.
I'd say
you literally did say that.
No, I'm not saying they should leave the country.
Well, that's what I'm
saying. If you have the opportunity to leave £10 million to each of your children, that's quite enough. And if, as a good Tory like yourself, Chris, which I believe you are, believe in a meritocratic society, you should support it too.
I'm telling you what human nature is, and if you say to someone who's got more than £10 million, we're going to basically swipe all of it when you pass away, those people will simply leave the country. You may not like that, but that's what they'll do. I mean, they're doing it already, even at today's tax levels.
Where would they go to, do you think?
Well, they go to anywhere else. I mean, they go to Dubai. They go to Dubai. They go to Singapore. They go to New York. They go to Milan. They would leave the country. So not only would your idea
family counts for nothing, language counts for nothing, schooling counts for nothing.
Mate, people are leaving already as a result of high taxes. Yeah. So not only would your genius policy raise literally no money, in fact, it would raise negative money because the most successful people would just leave the country.
Okay, so. Is this a radical policy? Yes, it's definitely a radical policy. Is it going to be implemented? No, it's not. But it's not about that. It's about getting conversation started. See, when Nigel Farage was talking about we need to leave the European Union, or we need to end immigration, or we need to send back hundreds of thousands of people, politicians were not saying, no, that's absurd. No, they were saying, okay, well, we're not going to do exactly that, but we'll get close to that. So people were moving, politicians, political parties, like Labour and the Conservatives, were moving in the direction of Nigel Farage. They were not calling him absurd. They were not calling him ridiculous. They were not ignoring his ideas. They were moving in his direction. And that's exactly what you should be doing on the left. Put out radical policies. Get the Tories on the defence, where they say, well, you can't impose a 100% tax on incomes, or not incomes, we're not even talking about incomes, we're talking about inheritance above £10 million. You can't do that. So let's talk about where it should be then. Because, of course, the Conservatives wanted to eliminate it completely, some Conservatives anyway. So there has to be somewhere in between. Where would be a good in between? That's what you need to be doing. You can't be saying, well, we need to reform this, or we need to tinker around the edges. No, you need to be radical, because the right are radical with with their policies on immigration. Let's just deport everyone. Let's deport everyone who arrives in a boat. These policies are radical, and what's happening is politicians on the left and in the centre are moving in that direction in order to thwart that threat. They're listening to these radical policies and say, well, we better not go that far, but we'll have these conversations. And you have to be doing exactly the same thing on the left. Put out radical policies. Don't expect anyone to implement them. They're not designed to be implemented. They're designed to get conversations started. Well, let's end homelessness tomorrow. No, you can't do that. That's too radical. Okay, let's talk about homelessness then. This is what you should be doing. Not let's initiate a program to try and deal with No, let's eliminate homelessness. We can do it. It's a political decision. Let's eliminate it by 2030. There. Or eliminate it by next year. A radical policy. So let's get the conversation going about homelessness. Let's get the conversation going about wealth inequality and income inequality and inequality in general. Put out radical policies, because then you get conversation started, and then you get people moving in your direction. Because if they think you're going to be implementing these policies, they're going to fight back. But they'll only fight back if they think you're serious, and if they think they're really radical and they're going to affect them. So Chris Philp would certainly not like the idea of people paying inheritance tax at 100% over £10 million. Because either he would be impacted by that, or people in his constituency would. And they would be on the phone to him saying, do something about this. Yes, we'll come to some sort of compromise. So this is what needs to happen. We can't approach issues like immigration, issues like income tax or wealth taxes or housing or anything like this in a sort of soft approach. We have to be radical. Otherwise, somebody else will be radical and they will be setting the narrative. And Farage has been setting the narrative over the last 10 years. And that has to change. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. And I'll see you in the next video.